Good afternoon, Lex Meredith here with Global Elite Property Investments based out of Richmond, Virginia. We're a real estate redevelopment company that buys houses in as-is condition, refurbishes or redevelops them, makes them absolutely gorgeous, and then resells them on the open market. The reason I'm making this video today is to kind of discuss a topic that's very hot in the investor and agent community, and that's how do investors and agents work with each other without fighting. And you see it a lot in the real estate investor or real estate agent groups, of which I'm a member of very, very many on Facebook. I mean, I'm a member of probably 150,000 total members in these groups. So I see a lot of kind of infighting and backbiting between investors and agents. And when it comes down to it, real estate investors, to be successful on a larger scale, larger than 2 or 3 or 5 deals on a yearly basis, we have to have a good relationship with a real estate agent. And real estate agents have so many benefits of working with real estate investors as well. So I kind of wanted to go over this also. You can also locate us on the web at www.globaleliteproperties.com. There's a section on there specifically for agents and/or contractors even to look at and see what the benefits are of working with a good real estate investor. But I wanted to highlight a couple of these at this time. Starting with investor benefits. Investor benefits to working with a good real estate agent, the number one benefit that you're ever going to find is you're going to be able to sell more properties at higher dollar amounts and in shorter amounts of time. Because as real estate investors, what we're looking to do is we're looking to find the next deal, find the next acquisition, so that we can get our contractors in there, put them to work, and get the property resold. If we're spending time working inside of our business, we can't spend the time working on our business with our acquisitions team trying to bring in more properties for us to purchase, and we're really shooting ourselves in the foot. So the number one benefit to working with an agent is more deals. More deals is the lifeblood of our business. More deals also equal more money, even though we're paying a slim margin to a real estate agent to help us sell the properties that we're going to sell, in most cases 4 to 6%. Industry statistics will show you that if you haven't taken the time to master the sale of a house, you're going to lose 10, 15, or even 20% of the value of that property when you try to sell it based upon listing it with a good real estate agent. And make no mistake, you should have a very rigid hiring process when it comes to hiring agents, because there's the differences between the good agents and the other 90% of agents that are out there. Good agents will get your property sold fast for big money to the right buyers and drive competition. The second benefit to a real estate agent, a real estate investor, is you see more off-market deals. Now, a lot of real estate agents don't like the fact that we won't commit to them as a singular buyer, but it's because they don't understand our business model. In order for us to help more people in the community and to get the most amount of deals accomplished, we have to work with multiple buyers agents spread throughout the cities that we're in, because there's a lot of pocket listings and off-market listings that won't sell without our help, because they're too bad a shape, or they need to move extremely quickly before a foreclosure situation, or they're a crumbling pile of bricks where a fire has caved in a house and there's no way a normal buyer is going to buy it, and typically a normal agent's not going to list it because they don't know they can sell it. But we're going to get more off-market deals by working with multiple agents. Benefits to the agents are you get to put us as an investor in your quill to sell those types of properties, but when we move to this side of the board, that's when I'll talk a little bit more about that. But as an investor, it benefits us. We get more deals in our door, and we sell more of our deals for higher dollar amounts and a lot more rapidly. Now we'll move to the other side of the board, and obviously there's a great plethora of stuff that can go over here as well, investors to agent and agent to investor, but I'm going to touch on the key points. For agents working with investors, and I'm going to relook at my notes here because there are a ton of agent benefits to working with a good real estate investor. But firstly, I want to touch on how do you tell a good real estate investor from a bad real estate investor. Not saying that a good real estate investor from a real estate investor from a fake real estate investor would probably be the way to say it. There's a lot of real estate investors in the market that represent themselves to be investors that are not real estate investors. And those types are going to run you like a chicken with your head cut off all day long. Because there's a lot of $29 books out there that say that you can purchase and invest in real estate without actually using your own money. In most cases, that's not true. Even when we use our hard money lenders, we're going to be putting in 20 or 30% of our own company capital to get that deal funded. So you're going to have, if you're even doing one property, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 even to get going. So the folks that are, they read the $29, $49 book, bought into the $299 program that told them they can invest in real estate with no money, you want to be able to weed those folks out quickly, and we'll make a separate video on that. But if they don't come to you with a couple of things, they can use either a proof of funds from their bank or a letter of commitment from a hard money lender or a private money lender. All three of those things work. If they don't have one of those three things, typically what they're doing is they're just trying to wholesale contracts, which is fine. Every real estate investor, even the good ones, wholesales and assigns contracts because sometimes we get inside of deals and we don't want to finish them off because they're A, too much work for us, or B, we have too much on our plate. So we just rather assign our interest in that property to another investment company than complete it ourselves instead of letting it sit in the middle of Richmond or in the middle of San Francisco or in the middle of Houston, completely decrepit for the next 3 years while we get around to doing that project. That's not good for the community, it's not good for the property, it's not good for anybody. So benefits to agents, the top benefit is ability to secure commissions, and I'm not going to write the rest of it out because it's a long sentence, but it's the ability to secure commissions that you otherwise would not get. For example, you go out to the neighborhood, you find somebody that wishes to sell their house. That person's house is pretty wrecked, pretty run down, in bad shape. Also, they don't want to pay you a 6% commission, so they're not going to list with you and they're going to stuff a for sale by owner sign outside of their house for the next 18 months while it sits there. It's not good for you, the agent, it's not good for the property owner, and I see it. I've actually got one in my neighborhood right now that's been sitting there for 9 months, hasn't sold, it's priced properly, for sale by owner, can't sell it. They don't want to pay a commission. I called them, I actually tried to flip them over to a real estate agent so that they can get the property sold quickly, and they said, I'm not going to pay a commission. Now, here's how I come in as a real estate investor for you at that point as an agent. You can say to that real estate seller, listen, what if I told you that you wouldn't have to pay me a single dollar in commission, but I could still get the house sold for you? You can then pick up the phone, call somebody like me. I will come in and pay you as an agent a buyer's commission instead of the seller having to pay you a commission. So let's say they want to sell their house for 50 grand. Typically, they're going to be 50 grand. They're going to pull out 6% of that, so 3 grand goes to the agent, and then the other 47 stays with the seller. In this case, what would happen is 50 grand would go from me to the seller, 3 grand would go to the agent, and everybody gets paid, everybody's happy. The seller didn't pay a commission, the agent still gets paid exactly what they were going to get paid to begin with. Another benefit to an agent, and this one you'll really like, is double or triple commissions, and let me explain how that works. As a real estate investor, I typically do not come in represented by a buyer's agent unless that buyer's agent has found me that deal. For that reason, you have the ability to make both sides of the commission on that deal. The triple commission comes in when I've already done the renovations on the project and I go to relist the project. If you're a listing specialist in that neighborhood, you have the option to get paid the 3rd time on that as well as the listing agent, and maybe even 4 times if you can find your own buyer. So it allows you to multiply the amount of commission that you can make on a property without multiplying the amount of work that you put in, which is outstanding for most agents, and they tend to love that as well. The third benefit is that we close in cash. We either come with our cash, or in our case, to leverage our ability to close deals in the marketplace, we use hard money and private money funds, but it still works the same as cash. So when we come to the closing table, there's no financing contingencies, so there's no way for this deal, if I write a contract on a house, this deal's not gonna fall through on you based upon the bank saying, no, the house is in too crappy of a condition. Whereas if you put a troubled house under contract with a normal cash buyer, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times out of 10, whatever the number is nowadays, that contract's going to fall through because the bank's going to look at it and say, nah, this house is a little bit too much for this homeowner. And they don't like homeowners living inside of houses while they're fixing them up. They would much rather see an investor come in, not live in the house, have a construction crew in there 12 hours a day, ripping out floors, putting in tile, granite countertops, etc. They don't want a normal homeowner living in that house anyway. So we have the ability to close cash. Also, we have the ability to close extraordinarily fast. This helps you out big time when you have a situation, person comes to you, they have an impending foreclosure. Oh my God, I need to sell my home. I've got equity in it, but I've got 30 days before my home is taken by the bank. Because a lot of the times the folks, they'll put their head in the sand in this case, and they'll hope that this situation goes away and the bank's not actually going to foreclose, they're just bluffing. And they wait until 15 or 30 days before the actual foreclosure goes through to say, oh my God, I need help. We can close typically in 7 to 30 days is our target, 30 to 45 days sometimes if we have a lot going on. So sometimes we'll ask for a 45-day closing, but our target's always anywhere in between 7 to 30 days depending upon the ease or the complexity of the deal. So no financing contingencies. Also, no repairs for your homeowner to make or for your seller to make. We buy them as is. We come in knowing that we're going to have to fix the properties. So as is, where they sit, in the condition that they're in. Sometimes we'll have an inspection period, but it's not to inspect the property. We already know it's pretty jacked up if we're buying it in most cases. So that's just for our contractors to walk through, give us a good scope of work and a bid on the project so that we know we're not going to go over our construction budget on it. And that's the final piece for an investor really, is the scope of work bid that the contractor is going to bring back so that we understand that, okay, our ARV and our repairs are this, so this is what we have to buy the house for. All right, so no repairs, we buy them in as is condition, close quickly and with cash. The sixth is more listings. If you're a listing agent in the area that you're selling in, and you're a very good listing agent, a good investor is going to bring you 10, 20, 30 listings on a yearly basis instead of your typical one listing on a yearly basis. How valuable would a client be to you in real estate that brought you 10 deals a year at $200,000, $250,000 sales price on a yearly basis? That's an additional $60,000 to $80,000 in commissions if you only get one side of those sales, if we just bring you 10 deals on a yearly basis. So more listings. Investors can be extraordinarily valuable to your commission pocketbook for sure. And the seventh is we will wait on short sales. We aren't going anywhere. The house isn't going anywhere. Typical buyer doesn't want to wait the entire process for the bank to get done with a short sale, because as we all know, that can get extremely lengthy. Nobody wants to do that except for an investor, which will sit around and wait for the house because we're in other projects, so we don't have to get into this project as rapidly as possible. And we have short sale experts on staff. So that being said, hopefully this video gave you a little bit more of knowledge of how to work with each other. Investors and real estate agents can develop a very good partnership together if they would just take the time to sit down face to face with each other and talk about how it would make sense. You as an agent can also work with an investor without spending very much of your time on that investor by setting up, let's say, an MLS hot sheet search that comes into your inbox every single day with keywords. And anytime that I meet with an agent, I bring an agent package. Basically, it gives 5 or 6 pages of benefits of working with us. I also bring an agent package as far as the criteria that I'm looking for, and I bring an agent package with hot sheet words that I want you to use, things like probate or short sale or seller needs to sell quickly or as is, things like that, so that you can set that in your MLS. When it comes in, you throw it out in my direction, and I'm able to move on that property if it's something that I want to take a look at. As I mentioned, our company buys houses nationally in all 50 states, including Alaska, but it's got to be in a city. But we buy houses in all 50 states, so if you're a real estate agent and you would like to work with an investor like us, you can feel free to reach out to me. Our number is 804-442-3113. Again, that's 804-442-3113. And we're also very easy to find at www.globaleliteproperties.com. I thank you everybody for your time today, and I look forward to chatting further with you.